Hi, my name's Heidi Di Santo and welcome to this video on quitting smoking and doing it without putting on weight. I'm going to share with you the 3 things that you need to know, so stick around, and if you haven't already done so, please subscribe to my channel. Back in 2011, I worked with Alex Perry and Nicabate, and we set an Australian number or record number of people to quit smoking on World No Tobacco Day. And so I know a little bit about this stuff, and there'll be a lot of information on the internet about the 3 things that you need to do to quit smoking. And the first is to break the habit of smoking. And they're things like if you have a cigarette when you normally have a coffee, it's about changing up that routine. I'm not going to go into that in this video because there's lots of stuff, as I mentioned, out on the internet about that. The second thing is it's about breaking the addiction that you have to nicotine. And there's patches, there's gum, there's going cold turkey. Once again, I'm not going to focus this video on that. What I want to focus on is what you won't get elsewhere. And really, at the root of every addiction is unprocessed emotions. And so what I wanted to share with you in this video is the 3 emotional things that you need to know in order to be successful at quitting smoking. The first thing in relation to quitting smoking is that when you decide to quit, it has to come from you. If someone is forcing you to quit, the likelihood of you succeeding at quitting smoking is very low. So when you know that the motivation's coming from within, the second thing that you need to move on to is really looking at the emotional reason as to why you took up smoking in the first place. I've worked with a number of people, and there are 2 things that are going on. Firstly, there are parts in conflict. So when you decide to quit, you're going to have a part that wants to quit smoking, and you're also going to have a part that really wants to stay smoking. And these parts are in conflict. And you as a person aren't just made up of one entity known as you. You're made up of many different parts, and getting these parts to align towards common goals is essential. The reason people often have difficulty getting these parts to align towards common goals is at the root of parts in conflict is really parts in trauma. And parts in trauma is you've gone through something in the past and there's emotion that you weren't able to process. Emotion is energy in motion. And so being able to go back to that original wound and heal that is really where you become free. For instance, I'll give you an example. One girl that came to me to quit had no understanding of why she was smoking. And then when we went back and did the work, what she found is that back when she was 16, her father died. And that was when she took up smoking because she was unable to really process all the feelings of that sadness. So I helped her to go back and make peace with her past. And she then became free and she was able to quit smoking. A lot of people are afraid of quitting smoking because they may put on weight. Now, if you're in this category, what you need to know is that parts in conflict and parts in trauma are at the root of this. If you don't heal those parts in trauma, what happens is you just swap one addiction, which is smoking, for another, which is eating. So when you get help for the parts in trauma, then what happens is you become free. There are a number of therapists that are able to help you to do that. They're called resource therapists. They work with parts. They're also known as ego state therapists. These are therapists that work with parts. The third thing when it comes to quitting smoking, and this is one of the things in that Pledge to Quit campaign that was very important to get across to people. It's about learning to be kind and gentle with yourself. If you've decided to quit and if you've run into a stumbling block and you've had a cigarette, the last thing that you need to do is to beat up on yourself because you've had one cigarette. Instead, learn to be kind and gentle with yourself and focus on all the cigarettes that you haven't had rather than the one that you've just had. Because when you do that, you're going to be much more wanting to stay on that quit path. Learning to be kind and gentle with yourself is key. Now, if you want to learn more about becoming emotionally fit, because this is at the root of succeeding in life and making any change, I have a free 3-part video series. The link is below. Otherwise, go to my website, which is heidi.com.au, and you can sign up and get those 3 videos. I really hope that this information has helped you, and I really wish you all the best in your quit journey. Bye for now.